Right. First of all, and Tom, I mean, how's the body? A couple of weeks into your return and since coming back from a pretty long layoff, how's the body held up over the last couple of weeks?
Touchwood feeling good. I felt the effects a bit of it after the first 90 minutes against obviously Sheffield Wednesday. Took a couple of days to sort of recover, but that's expected obviously after such a long layoff. But I guess all the work with the rehab team in the build up to return to play sort of allowed that sort of transition back into match environment a bit smoother. So it'll still take a bit of adjusting, getting used to sort of, especially with it being Saturday, Tuesday, to get up to speed with that and that sort of match sharpness to come back as well.
How's the rehab process for your sort of injury? Because it's not exactly just a muscle strain that you can almost, I guess, gradually work your way back from. What's the rehab process like for that?
It was probably the most difficult one I've had. So again, I think I've said before, thanks to obviously the medical stuff, because with it being a stress fracture in the bone, I've had long injuries in the past, and there's always sort of goals to hit during the rehab and targets. And this one, it was just a lot of we have to sort of sit back and wait, relying on scans to come back with positive news, which they didn't always. I think I've had every sort of scan possible to sort of determine the area that we were focusing on to heal. Seen one of the best specialists possible, and he was sort of perplexed on how to handle it, because it's not something he's come across before. So it's frustrating one on that. And obviously in football you're not blessed with time, in terms of time is of the essence almost to get back fit. So it was frustrating and tough in that respect, but we were patient enough in the end, and hopefully now we're in a good place and hopefully over the back of that.
How much, when you touched on patience, how much of that did it take? How much mental strength did it take to just sort of keep battling on and just keep not overstretching it and not kind of overdoing it so that you had a bit of a relapse or whatever?
I mean, I had a little choice, to be honest. The physios were pretty tight on keeping the leash on, if you like. I had good distractions with obviously loved ones close by, and birth of my little girl. So me and my partner had our first child recently as well, so that was a nice distraction. So in terms of that respect, that came at a good time, just to sort of help keep my mind away from focusing too much on being injured. So it was that was a good distraction.
How you finding being a dad?
Yeah, no, loving it. Enjoyable. So it's another curveball during the football season, but we're getting used to that. So you just have to adapt, and that's football in a nutshell, really.
Are you close? Do you think being able to do back-to-back games, busy couple of weeks sort of coming up between now and sort of mid-April, but are you feeling that you're close to being able to do Saturday, Tuesdays?
Definitely. I feel like I'm getting into a position where I'll be able to, 90 minutes on the weekend would have done me the world of good. So, just to build on that, I guess will be the next progression to be able to try and do that. So that, I guess that'll be up to the manager.
And touched on playing 90 minutes last week, and how was it playing with John Marquis? So talk us about the partnership that you two have struck up over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, he's obviously a very experienced player at this level. Scored a lot of goals, so he's an intelligent player. So to be able to sort of fit into that, we can both sort of play that role, if you like, as a two or even as a one, whoever is required. So it felt almost seamless to be able to do that. And we're both sort of experienced players in terms of games under our belt, so we can play off each other quite well, I feel. And I think it's something, it's always difficult to chuck two players together who never played with each other before. So that's obviously going to take a bit of time to improve, and I'm sure it's something it will improve on given the time towards the end of the season.
Do you feel that you kind of complement each other well in terms of you having different strengths?
Yeah, I feel like we actually both have very similar strengths, but also very different in the same regard. So I'm sure there's definitely things we can both help each other with, and sharing workloads if the manager decides to go with two up front. But I think proved now over the last few weeks that we can sort of adapt to different shapes and formations. So it's whoever's called upon has a job to do and is required to do so.
And in terms of playing as a two, what are the sort of differences that you have to think about as a forward when you're playing with a partner up top as opposed to playing solo?
I guess as a lone front man, you're sort of relying on occupying most of the we'll play against a lot of back three, a lot in League One at the moment, more back two in terms of centre halves. So you have to occupy them. But I guess when you have a partner, you can sort of share that workload and allow yourself to sort of make movements sort of in terms of working tandem opposite off your strike partner. As a lone striker, you sort of maybe having to make that solo movement, relying on a wide player to sort of fill different spaces in the edge of the boxes or in the box. So, it's just working in partnerships, and there's partnerships all over the pitch, whether that be a front two, front three, midfield two, back four, back five, including the keepers. So, it's just relationships and having time to build on that and work on that, and then I'm sure they improve as time goes on.
And what of tomorrow and the game at Wimbledon? How are you looking ahead to that one? How important do you see the game as?
I mean, every game's important. We're looking now to go and obviously pick up maximum points available, and that's what we'll try and do. Obviously last time we visited there, it's a new ground, it was an empty stadium, so I'm sure it would be a very different atmosphere this time around when we go there. Again, they'll be wanting the points as much as we are, so we have to go there with the right attitude, right mindset, and apply ourselves correctly and put in a performance worthy of taking 3 points.